Drawing the negative space is one of my favorite tricks for drawing accurately. I find I use it all the time. In this photo, the dog is considered the positive space, while the background is considered the negative space. Here you can see more clearly. The white area is the dog, the positive space, and the shaded area is the background, or the negative space. When we think of a dog, our brain often comes up with a symbol for a dog. It comes up with a preconceived idea on how it thinks a dog looks. So if we draw a dog, oftentimes we may struggle because our left brain will take over and just draw the symbol. We'll draw what we think we see versus what's actually right in front of us. But when we draw the negative space, or the negative shape, our left brain doesn't have any preconceived symbol for this, so it checks out, allowing our creative right brain to take the wheel. And this is what we want to happen in a drawing. The right brain takes pleasure in breaking down this shape into what it uniquely is. Now, this isn't a geometric shape, it's what's called an organic shape. Organic shapes are irregular, and you'll find them in negative spaces like this all the time. This shape is still pretty big though, so to break the shape down even further, I add straight lines to the edges of my paper. If we ignore the dog and just draw these shapes around the dog, in the end, the dog will appear almost like magic. Negative spaces aren't only secluded to the backgrounds. You can also find interior negative spaces on your subject. For example, when drawing eyes, instead of focusing on the circular iris shapes, look instead to the shapes surrounding the irises. Drawing these shapes instead can help you better place the irises and avoid generalizing and symbolizing them. Sometimes with things like this that we see all the time, we can become too generalized. So looking at the negative space helps you see what's really there. So let's practice drawing negative spaces. In this demo, I'm going to focus exclusively on the white shapes I see all around the edges of the chair. I'm going to try my best to ignore the fact that my subject is a chair. To start, since the object is not touching the edge of the border of the paper, I'm going to make up some lines to break this big negative space up into smaller shapes. As a note, when it comes to the actual drawing process, I mentally project these sort of lines rather than actually drawing them. Now, no real rhyme or reason here, just trying to section it up so it's easier to draw. Okay, now I'm going to begin, and to start, I'm going to start with this shape right here. It looks almost like a chunky L shape to me, so I do my best to draw it. Making note of where it falls compared to the negative spaces around it. Random side note, sometimes I'll turn my paper in a different direction just because it's easier for me to swing a line in this direction. So now I start on one shape, but then I decide I want to do this one first. Trying my best to only look at the shape of the negative space, checking out the height of it compared to the width, and also considering the very subtle curves it has. Now I'm going to work out this rounded triangle shape, taking into consideration where it lands compared to the previous shape. Now let's do this shape. I notice that the bottom edge of this shape and the previous one sort of swing into each other. And I'm really carefully considering each piece of this, constantly looking back and forth from the reference to my drawing. At this point, I'm sort of getting into the zone as my right brain is taking over. I see this little triangle here, so I put that in. And then this leaf-like teardrop shape here. Now I'm going to draw this shape right here. I see the left edge of the shape and the one above it line up, so that helps me place it. And there are some interesting little things happening here that my brain is having fun discovering. This is definitely an exercise that makes you slow down quite a lot, but you probably won't notice the passage of time as you work. This took me about 20 minutes. I got distracted by the positive space of the chair leg here, so I drew this wrong, but that's okay. I erase out and try again. Now I'm going to this shape here, which reminds me of Batman's ears for some reason. I think when drawing negative space, it's okay to compare the shapes to things you've seen in real life. It's only bad when something's a symbol in your brain. So for example, if you said, "Oh, that's a chair. I know how to draw a chair. It's like this," and you stopped looking at what was actually right in front of you, that's when it would be a problem. So now I'm sneaking ahead to a measuring trick I'll show you later. But basically, I'm just imaginarily drawing across the paper to see where about this line would land. And I'm just placing this shape here. Sometimes tracing over the image with your pencil, without the lead in it, can give you an idea of the size of something. So I make this a bit bigger. Now I'm looking at this shape right here, and then this one here. Now just 3 more negative spaces here, so I'm almost done. This one here reminds me of a side profile of an ostrich, so I draw that in. And then this one over here, which is a little wider than the other and mirrored the opposite way. And then I go in with this loop in the middle. Now I'm just tweaking these shapes a little bit and erasing my helper lines. And this one's done. This is really an excellent exercise to do. And I've included this one in the class worksheets if you'd like to give it a go. A chair works great for this exercise, but try spotting negative space in any image you draw. I think you'll find it will make drawing more fun and less challenging too. My name is Gabrielle Brickey, and today in class I want to share with you my journey on how I learned to draw. Drawing didn't come easily or naturally to me as a kid, but my passion for it drove me to want to get better. Through learned skills and time and effort, I can now say I know how to draw, and I want to share with you what I've learned along the way. In this class, we'll walk through basic fundamentals to build your drawing skills. This class is filled with drawing exercises that you can start implementing into your drawing routine today. You'll learn how to break things down into shapes, how to see angles, and how to place your subject on your page in proper proportion. You'll also learn how to draw and shade forms for 3D believability, how to draw gracefully with rhythmic lines, and much more. This class is packed with every little technique I find useful in making a drawing. I'll also share projects that you can create every day to put these techniques into action. If you think you'll never get better at drawing, this class was made with you in mind. I still remember how it felt to struggle through a drawing, but I hope that these solutions learned over years of study will help you too. So if you're a beginner, feel right at home, since we'll start with just simple shapes and then build upon them. If you're more advanced, join in for a new perspective or a refresher on drawing techniques. These are still all the techniques I use in my art every day when I draw and paint. In class, I'll be demoing with two of my favorite drawing mediums, sharing examples with regular pencil and paper and also my iPad Pro and Apple Pencil. Whether you choose to use pencils, pens, or digital tools, you'll be able to walk away from this class with foundational skills that you can apply to any subject matter. Ready to start drawing? Grab your favorite medium and let's get started.